Shambhavis. So let's get started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirai. शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना हृदयन्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विधुनोति सदा नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी. So dear devotees, we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 13. Today we are going to take up verses 32 to 36. So verse 32. Tatha sadhaya bhadram te atmanam suprajam nrupa ishtaste putra kamasya putram dasyati yagyabhuk. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O King, we wish all good fortune for you. You have no son, but if you pray at once to the Supreme Lord and ask for a son, and if you execute the sacrifice for that purpose, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will fulfill your desire. Text 33. Tata svabhagadeyani grahishyanti divaukasaha यद्यज्ञ पुरुषः साक्षात् apathyaya hari vritaha. Translation: when Hari, the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices, is invited to fulfill your desire for a son, all the demigods will come with him and take their share in the sacrifice. Purport: whenever a sacrifice is performed, it is meant for satisfying Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of the fruits of all sacrifices. And when Lord Vishnu agrees to come to a sacrificial arena, all the demigods naturally follow their master, and their shares are offered in such sacrifices. The conclusion is that the sacrifices performed are meant for Lord Vishnu, not for the demigods. Verse 34. Tamstan kaman harir dagnan Yana kamayate janah आरब्धितो यथैवेष्या तथा pumsam falodayah. The performer of the sacrifices under karmakanda activities achieves the fulfillment of the desire for which he worships the Lord. Purport: in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he awards benediction to the worshipper according to his desire. The Supreme Personality of Godhead gives all living entities conditioned within the material world full freedom to act in their own way. But to his devotee, he says that instead of working in that way, it is better to surrender unto him, for he will take charge of the devotee. That is the difference between a devotee and a fruitive actor. The fruitive actor enjoys only the fruits of his own activities. But a devotee, being under the guidance of the Supreme Lord, simply advances in devotional service to achieve the ultimate goal of life, to go back home, back to Godhead. The significant word in this verse is kaman, which makes sense gratificatory desires. A devotee is devoid of all kaman. He is anya abhilashat sunya, anya abhilashita sunya. A devotee is always devoid of all desires for sense gratification. His only aim is to satisfy or gratify the senses of the Lord. That is the difference between the karmi and a devotee. Verse 35. इति व्यवसिता विप्रास्तस्य राज्ञः प्रजातये पुरोडाचां निरवपन् शिपिविष्टाय विष्णवे. Translation. Thus, for the sake of a son of King Anga, they decided to offer oblation to Lord Vishnu, who is situated in the hearts of all living entities. Purport. According to sacrificial rituals, animals are sometimes sacrificed in the yajna arena. Such animals are sacrificed not to kill them, but to give them new life. Such action was an experiment to observe whether the Vedic mantras were being properly pronounced. Sometimes small animals are killed in a medical laboratory to investigate therapeutic effects. In a medical clinic, the animals are not revived, but in the yajna arena, when the animals were sacrificed, they were given life with the potency of Vedic mantras. The word Sipi Vistaya appears in this verse. Sipi means the flames of the sacrifice. In the sacrificial fire, if the oblations are offered into the flames, then Lord Vishnu is situated there in the form of the flames. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is known as Sipi Vista. Verse 36. Tasmat Purusha Uttasto Hemamalyam Malyamalambarah Hiranmayena Patrena Siddhamadaya Payasam. Translation. As soon as the oblation was offered in the fire, a person appeared from the fire altar wearing a golden garland and a white dress. He was carrying a golden pot filled with rice boiled in the milk. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गवं लङ्गायते गिरिं यत्कृपातवहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणम्। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो। I would like to seek blessings from all the Vaishnavas. Please bless me so that I can present it correctly in according to scriptural injunctions. So today I collected some few points from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, lecture given at LA in 2006. So as we know that we from few chapters or few months probably, we have been reading about Dhruv Maharaj. And in this chapter specifically, we read about his descendants. And we all know that Dhruv Maharaj is like a spiritual hero for all of us for several reasons. Two of the main reasons we can think of is the first thing he proved his one-pointed attention to achieve the goal of getting or basically achieving the goal to please Lord Vishnu and to appear before him. We know that when Narada Muni actually appeared before him and told him that you should not take these words seriously and then you should actually go and play. But he simply said, "Oh Narada Muni, if you cannot help me, please do not distract me from this path. I don't want to talk to you if you want to distract me." So he was one pointed attention. So Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was saying that even as a devotees, we should also have this kind of one-pointed attention towards our goal to achieve the ultimate perfection of our life. We should make our association so strong and have devotees of such kind who can actually help us with the goal. And that way we can also help each other and progress. The second thing that he proved is the austerity. Like, as we know, for the first 1 month, he was actually just dieting on fruits and berries. In second month, he switched over to dry grass. In third month, only water in 9 days, and then he even stopped everything and he just took one breath in 12 days. So this is like an austerity that he has shown, and he gave this example that austerity as a means to attract attention to Lord or get mercy of the Lord. So if you read chapter Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18:5, the verse says, Yagyadan tapah karma natyajyam karyameva tat yagyodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Act of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great soul. So, what Maharaj was pointing out is even how great you are, but these are the three things that you should never give up. What is that? Yajna, Dana, Tapasya, in other words. So, in this chapter, King Anga, who is actually the sixth generation down Dhruva Maharaj, this is a story about King Anga. So, it's described in these verses that he didn't had son, and when all the priests basically perform a karma kanda to please the demigods in order to attain a son, the demigods never show up. And and when the head priest, looks back into the life of King Anga, they discover that there's some sins he did in his past life, which made him not to have son. So, and all the priests kind of suggest King Anga that he should actually perform the sacrifice to Lord Hari, to please Lord Hari. And at the end of, in the next two verses, you would see that once um, the person who appeared and gave the kheer to King Anga, they conceive, his wife conceive a son. So that means that Lord Hari can override anything. That's what he means when Lord Krishna dictates boldly, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vaja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masuchaha. I will take care of all your sins. Don't worry about it. Here, obviously, this was based on the desire, but Lord, as as um, a supreme father, can actually understand the desire of everyone, and he can uh, avoid the benediction. The difference between the karma kandi activity, which is compared to drinking poison from a golden cup, versus the benediction that we receive from Supreme Personality of God is that once we receive that benediction, it only helps us not only to achieve the desires are fulfilled, but this desire will also help in achieving the highest goal of human life, which is to achieve the Krishna Prem. So, as we can see, we will read further, King Anga actually gets purified. How? Well, he gets his son, but the son turns out to be demoniac. And through this demoniac nature, King Anga slowly develops a natural vairagya towards his family. And he gives up all the family life and he takes up devotional service so seriously and he attains Krishna at the end. So the thing to understand is whatever the desires, even though if we have desires, but as we engage in the devotional process, these desires get purified, and at the end, we achieve the highest perfection. So similarly, we can quote the example of Dhruv Maharaj himself, where he realized that when he was looking for a kingdom as a matter of uh, a boon from Lord Vishnu, he realized that that boon was nothing but a compared to a broken pot. But in fact, when he actually saw Lord Vishnu, and then he had this natural inclination that developed to develop a devotional service attitude towards Lord Krishna, and he compared that to as a diamond. In present life also, we see these examples. Like in Prabhupada's time, this is a famous story you might have heard, that there was a drug dealer. So this drug dealer was being chased by cops. And when drug dealer was trying to escape, he finds this Kirtan party, and he enters into the Kirtan party. And because he has a fear that the cops will catch him, he follows with the Kirtan party into the temple. And then what happens is these cops kind of suspect that probably this person, this drug dealer, is actually with the Kirtan party and in the temple. That's why they what they do is they keep a tight security around that temple area to see if the person is in, and then to catch him basically. So this drug dealer, with the fear of getting caught, he basically approaches temple president, and he kind of he tells him that I want to be a devotee. Can you help me? So for next 6 months, he was part of this Hare Krishna movement. And he did everything what devotees were doing, like get up in the morning at 3 o'clock, take shower in cold water, then uh, do the Mangalarti followed by Tulsi Arti, and do japa. And then also he was subjected to do 12 hours of book distribution by temple president. So he was doing that. So he did for like 6 months. And after 6 months, his heart kind of transformed, and he approached president again. And he admitted that um, he was like a drug dealer, and in order to escape, he actually took the shelter of Hare Krishna temple. So when president hears about it, he orders him to go and surrender to the cops. He does it. And when judge this was taken to the court, and when the judge hears all this story, and then he asks him like what does he do, he listens to all the routine. This judge thinks that this person is suffering more than what a jailer or a person who is in the jail is suffering. So basically the judge acquits him. And when he quits him, he thinks that he was actually in a miserable condition, right? So later on, this Prabhu, who actually was a drug dealer, he happened to be, uh, I don't know his name of this person. I only heard this story from Avrendra Prabhu, said that he's actually in one of the top position in ISKCON movement currently. And he shares his realization that judge thought it was a miserable condition, but it was actually a perfect for him to actually get purified, because he was in the presence of such a pure and elevated association. He was easily be able to get out of his all this material um, anxieties, material conditioning, and he could achieve that the pure devotional service. Therefore, when we approach Lord Krishna, even though we have so many desires within our heart, but we approach with honesty and pray to Krishna that Krishna, please help me out. I have so many desires. But just by being association with these devotees, just by performing devotional service, we get purified. So other than that, there are a few other points that are mentioned in this two shlokas. I will quickly go through that. The first thing it is described is about the sacrifices. So ultimately, the sacrifices reaches to Krishna. It is meant to please Lord Krishna. Even demigods, even if they want to give a benediction, they have to take permission from Lord Krishna. So he is Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. The next point it said is Krishna gives as a free choice. Lord tells, even in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, you can see that at the end, even after Krishna explains everything, Krishna gives a free choice to Arjuna. Like, what do you want to do now? Like, this is the what I am expecting, or this is what you must or you should do, versus what you have in your thoughts. So I explained you everything about the philosophy. Now it is up to you. So Maharaj was saying that some devotees advance quickly, some slow down, and some regress. This is all because we have desires in our heart. and Krishna reciprocates based on what desires we have in our heart. Sarvachaham Priti Sannivishto. So that is why if we want to progress quickly, we have to get rid of all these desires and just surrender unto Krishna completely. The other quality of devotee described is he is devoid of all calm. He is anya vilashita sunya. Therefore, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, there are six divisions of surrendering. Let's do these six things are favorable for our devotional process. The first thing is accept things that are favorable for spiritual advancements. Second, reject things that are unfavorable things. Third, have full, firm conviction that will give protection. Fourth, Lord is guardian and master. And fifth, to have desire that is consistent with the Lord. And sixth, to cultivate humility. With all these six qualities, as given in Nectar of Instruction, one can actually progress in spiritual path. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and please forgive me any short.